I met Isla 7 years ago at a tiny coffee shop tucked away in Manchester. She was 26, a literature grad working as a copywriter. I was 28, just starting as a junior analyst at a brutal hedge fund. The hours were tough, but Isla made everything feel lighter. We sat down after ordering, talked like we'd known each other for years. She gave me her number, and I walked out feeling like I just met the love of my life. Despite my crazy schedule, Isla never complained. Where other relationships around us were falling apart, our relationship was going strong. "I know your work is intense," she said once, "but I'd rather have 20% of your time than 100% of someone else's I don't love." And I believed her. God, I believed her. After 3 years of building a life together, I was finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. My career was about to shift from chaos to control. Fewer hours, higher pay, actual weekends. I started getting interview requests from major private equity firms, I told Isla, and her eyes lit up. "Does this mean we can finally travel more? You'll be home before midnight?" I nodded. "It means we can finally have the life we talked about." To celebrate, I booked a trip to Lisbon. Sunsets over the ocean, late-night wine, old bookstores, and tiled streets. And on our last night, I proposed. She cried, said yes, hugged me like she never wanted to let go. "You've been my home since the day I met you," she whispered. I believed her. For a while, everything felt perfect again. We started venue shopping, talked baby names, but then the cracks began to show. It started small. She'd take her phone to the bathroom, even during showers. She started going out more. Just a quick drink with Jess. Or, yoga class ran long. No big deal, right? She deserved a life too. But one day she came back smelling like men's cologne. I asked, half joking, "You hugging strangers at yoga now?" She laughed it off. "You're paranoid." That night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. I never checked her phone. Never had a reason to. But something in my gut felt off. I tapped the screen. A message preview popped up. "Can't stop thinking about last night." My chest tightened. I opened the chat. Hundreds of messages, sweet nothings, inside jokes, secret meetups. She even sent him photos she'd once sent me. Then, I saw the one that broke me. "He's sweet, but boring," she wrote. "With you. I feel alive." Then she added, "Also, yours is bigger." I dropped the phone. Walked out of the apartment in a daze. The city lights blurred. I walked for 2 hours. No destination. Just pain. It felt like someone had taken a sledgehammer to my chest. I worked 14-hour days to give her everything. I skipped vacations, missed birthdays, starved myself of sleep. All so we could have a future. And this is what I got. But maybe, just maybe, I was overreacting. What if it was just texting? Just emotional? I needed the truth. Cold. Undeniable. The next morning, I ordered a hidden camera disguised as a smart speaker, set it up in the bookshelf in our bedroom. Angle pointed. Right at the bed. She didn't notice. 2 nights later, she said she was going to dinner with her old uni friends. I nodded. "Have fun," I said, forcing a smile. "Don't wait up," she called, blowing a kiss. She came home late, showered, slept next to me like nothing happened. The next morning, I checked the footage, and there it was. Her, Riley, in our bed, laughing, kissing, whispering things I once begged to hear. At one point, she even looked up and said, "He's such a sucker. He thinks we're getting married." I paused the video. My hands shook. My jaw clenched so hard I thought I'd crack a tooth. I stared at her, still sleeping peacefully. And I felt nothing. Just a cold, numb emptiness. She didn't just cheat, she mocked me while doing it. That's when I knew. I couldn't confront her. I had to destroy her. but not with screams, not with violence, with silence, with precision, and with karma as my weapon. The next 30 days felt like a war I couldn't walk away from. Every morning I kissed my fiancée goodbye, the same fiancée I caught in our bed with another man, and every night I came home and smiled at her like nothing had happened. Hey, babe, how was yoga? Work's been brutal, but seeing you makes it better. I became an actor. No, a master of deception. And she played the part of the perfect fiancé, completely unaware that I had already started planning her downfall. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. Some nights I'd stare at the ceiling while she lay next to me, sleeping peacefully, not a shred of guilt on her face. Meanwhile, I was battling the urge to scream, to wake her up and demand answers she'd only lie about. I stopped going home right after work, started walking aimlessly through the city streets, numb to the sound of traffic and life around me. Other nights I slept at the office, just so I didn't have to see her. And when I did go home, she'd act so sweet, snuggling up, asking about our wedding plans, sending color palettes and cake ideas. "What do you think of this venue?" she asked one evening, showing me a photo of a rustic villa in Italy. I forced a smile. "Looks magical," I said, all while thinking, "You have no idea I already bought one-way tickets." Away from you. And the most twisted part? We still slept together. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to sell the illusion. Afterward, I'd lie still, staring at the ceiling, feeling disgusted with myself for touching someone who'd betrayed me that deeply. Some nights I cried in the bathroom with the shower running, just to muffle the sound. I'd look at myself in the mirror, wondering when the pain would stop and how long I could keep up the act. I stopped responding to her family group chats, dodged questions from mutual friends, told everyone work was crazy busy when they asked why the wedding was delayed. But behind the scenes, I was executing my real plan, the exit strategy. I reached out to recruiters in New York and London, updated my resume, took late-night interviews in stairwells and cafes, started prepping for LBO modeling tests in secret. Nobody knew, not even my closest friends. Well, except one, Liam. I told him everything. He said, "Don't explode. Don't confront. Don't give her the satisfaction. Just vanish. Let her feel what it's like to be discarded." He was right. Why waste energy yelling at someone who already discarded you? So I waited, planned, smiled, pretended. And that's when the universe threw me a wild card. I didn't expect her. I wasn't looking for her. But when I met Elisa, it was like the world tilted just slightly back into balance. It was a Friday night. Liam had dragged me out for drinks, saying I looked like a zombie who lost a court case in his soul. I wasn't in the mood, but something told me to go anyway. That night, I met her. She had this presence, elegant, effortless, electric, blonde waves, a sharp smile, and eyes that saw everything. We got introduced through mutual friends, and within minutes, we were laughing like we'd known each other forever. Turns out Elisa was Swedish, doing her master's at my old university, the exact same program I graduated from years ago. We bonded over late-night study sessions, impossible professors, and that one secret coffee spot no student ever shared. We ended up exchanging numbers, not thinking much of it at first, but when I walked home that night, for the first time in weeks, I wasn't thinking about Isla. And that scared me, because it felt good. Elisa and I started talking. Every day, effortlessly. One conversation turned into a coffee date, then another, and then a night walk by the river that ended with us holding hands and neither of us wanting to go home. I didn't tell her everything, not yet, but I knew I wasn't emotionally loyal to Isla anymore. She'd shattered that the day I saw her with him. So no, I don't regret the first time Elisa and I kissed, because in that moment, I remembered what it was like to feel seen, to be wanted without lies. without betrayal. A few dates later, we were sitting on her tiny balcony, sipping wine and just talking about the things we normally hide. She opened up first. "My last boyfriend cheated on me," she said. "He had a whole second life I didn't know about. Since then, I just don't tolerate liars. I'd rather be alone than betrayed again." That's when I told her the truth, all of it. The texts, the camera, the months of pretending. When I finished, I expected judgment, disgust, something. But instead, she laughed. Not at me, but at the ridiculousness of the situation. "So let me get this straight," Elisa said, smiling. "You're living with your cheating ex-fiancé, pretending everything's fine while secretly building a whole new life without her." I nodded. "That's honestly iconic," she said. "She wasn't just beautiful, she was brilliant. Savage in the best way. The kind of woman who didn't just survive betrayal, she burned it down and built something better from the ashes." At that point, I was already deep into conversations with private equity firms in New York, but something shifted after meeting Elisa. One night she asked, "If you could stay here, would you?" And before I could even think, I said, "Yes." I didn't want to leave anymore, because I was finally building something new, something real. I asked the New York firm if they had an opening in London instead. A week later, I got the offer. I was in. New office, new flat, new city, same skyline. But everything had changed. I threw a low-key celebration at my new place. Close friends, pizza, champagne. Elisa by my side. We were gathered around my kitchen island, laughing and sharing stories, when the front door opened. Isla walked in. She paused, confused, threatened, terrified. I didn't even flinch. Didn't look her way. Just pulled Elisa closer. "You want a drink, babe?" I asked. Isla tried to sit between us. I shifted my chair. She ended up on the side, forced to watch the life I built without her right in front of her face. I didn't raise my voice, didn't expose her in front of everyone. No, that would come later. This moment was for me. Everything was falling into place. The career, the love, the plan. All that was left was the final move. I have everything I need now. A new flat, a new job, a new woman who respected me. And Isla, she was still playing house in a fantasy she didn't even deserve. But I wasn't angry anymore. No, I was focused, clear, dangerously calm. That last month living with Isla was hell. I kept playing the role of the loving fiancé, texting her sweet nothings from the office, pretending to plan the wedding, kissing her on the forehead before bed. She had no idea I knew, no idea that I was studying her every move like a hunter studying prey. She'd sneak off to see her affair partner, thinking I was clueless. She'd come back and lie through her teeth, thinking I was still in love. But all I could think was, "Keep going, Isla, just keep digging." Meanwhile, I was silently detaching from everything we ever built. I closed our joint bank account, forwarded all my mail. I deleted every trace of her from my digital life, even updated my emergency contacts. She would have zero access to me, zero leverage, zero closure. And I started packing, little by little, a shirt here, a book there, all quietly disappearing while she scrolled through Instagram thinking she had it all. Our last night together was almost laughable. She lit candles, put on soft music, tried to get intimate like old times, and I played along. Not because I felt anything, but because it made what was coming even colder. Before bed, she leaned into me and whispered, "I'm so lucky to have you." I kissed her cheek and said, "I love you." A lie, but a beautiful one. She had no idea that would be the last thing she'd ever hear from me. The next morning she left for work around 8 a.m., blew me a kiss at the door, said she'd be back by 6. By 9 a.m., I was gone. I had rented a van the day before. Liam came over. We packed everything: clothes, electronics, documents, sentimental stuff. We didn't leave a trace. I even took my coffee mug. I cleaned out the flat like a ghost, wiped down everything, left her engagement ring on the kitchen counter, with a single yellow post-it that said, "You were never going to stop." So I did. Then I locked the door and disappeared from her world. I blocked her on all types of social media. She no longer existed in my reality. Around 6:15 p.m., I turned my phone on just for a moment. Missed calls, voicemails, countless texts, panic, confusion, begging. "Where are you?" "I don't understand. Please just talk to me. Is this about us? We can fix it. I love you. I love you. I love you." Too late. Far, far too late. That week I started my new job in the London office of a top-tier PE fund. New office, new colleagues, new life. Elisa sent me a message that morning. "Good luck, baby. You've already won." We had dinner that night, celebrated with wine, pasta, and laughter. I finally felt light, like I could breathe again, like my soul had been unclenched for the first time in years. But karma wasn't done with Isla. Not even close, because a few days later she showed up at my office. Unannounced, unhinged. Security called me asking if I knew a Isla. I told them to send her up. Why? Because I wanted to see the look in her eyes. She came storming into the hallway, mascara streaked, voice trembling. "How could you do this to me? Where did you go? I was so worried." I stared at her, silent, calm. Then, I pulled out my phone and played the video, the one from the hidden camera. Her, him, everything. She collapsed to her knees. "It's not what it looks like. I can explain. I love you," but I didn't flinch, didn't blink. I looked down at her and said, "This is the last time we'll ever speak." Then I walked away as security escorted her out. That wasn't even the best part. Later that day, I met Elisa for lunch. As we stepped out of the building, we bumped right into Isla, full body freeze. All three of us locked eyes. The air was thick with shock. Then, Isla again dropped to her knees. This time, she wasn't pleading, she was broken. Probably because she realized I left her for someone better, someone stronger, someone who would never disrespect me the way she did. We walked past her without saying a word. Her tears? Not my problem. Her regret? Too late. I never found out what happened to Isla's affair partner. I never cared. Trash belongs with trash. As for me and Elisa, we're still going strong. If you've ever been cheated on, you deserve your happy ending too. But tell me, what would you have done if you were me? Would you have exposed her, stayed silent, or disappear, just like I did? I genuinely want to hear your take on the story. Please drop a comment. I go through every single one. Hit that like button, it helps more than you know. And don't forget to subscribe. I drop new jaw-dropping stories every single day, so turn on notifications so you never miss the next twist.